Welcome to another episode of Design with Pam. Today we're going to be creating this simple subscription page, and I'm going to let you in on my thought process, why I chose the fonts I chose, why I highlighted certain parts, and all of that. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is to go to this toolbar section, click this drop down, select frame, and then select our desktop from here. Alright, so let's go ahead and name our desktop. Just double click into this section here and then start typing subscription page. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to take our logo here. So if you want to import your own logo from your files, then you can just click this drop down, go to select files and then select place image. It will take you directly to your file manager while you import your logo. So remember, we always work with layout grids. So the first thing we're going to do is to go out and turn our grid lines on. There are other video tutorials where I showed you grid lines. So I'm just going to select one of the ones I have here. So let's choose this one. And I'm going to go ahead and position my logo very well here to start from where I want it to start. I gave my desktop is spacing from the top. I gave it a spacing from the top and spacing from the bottom. So this is where I want all my object, my item to start from when I'm designing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work on this menu section. I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and I'm going to type. I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and I'm going to type home. We have home, and we have about, and we have services, and we have about. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of them, create an auto layout by clicking on Shift A. Then I'm going to give it a spacing of as much as, let's give it a 56 spacing. Then I'm going to take one of this, going to double click on one of them, and I'm going to hold on to my option key and then drag it out with my mouse. So what I'm creating is this call to action button here that says free CV review. So what I'm going to do is to type, double click in it and type free CV review, but I'm going to change it to an auto layout. I'm going to give this text an auto layout by clicking Shift A. Then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the spacing. But before I do that, let me position all of this very well so that I can know the spacing I want to give this. Okay, so for the between these two, this one and this one, I want to give it a spacing of, let's say, as much as 140. So I'm going to select this, hold on to Shift key and then select the other frame I created. So you can see the spacing that you have between these two items right here. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and give this spacing of 144. Then I'm going to drag this very well so you can start from this grid line here that we have. Make sure you always follow the grid line. Figma has a way of showing you that, oh, you are the right track by showing you those red lines. Alright, so let's first of all add a few color here. So I'm going to come to this section here and click this plus sign, and I'm going to select a color, not black. Right? If you watch other of my tutorials, I don't like using all black as a color. So this other one, I'm going to also change the color to not black. Then I'm going to double click, hold on to command and click into this so I can select the text, and I'm going to change the text color to white. However, let's kind of round the corner radius here. Let's give this place, because I don't want this call to action to have these sharp edges. I'm going to select it and come to this section. It says corner radius, and I'm going to give it a corner radius of 12. So let's close our grid line so you can see what we've done so far. So select the text desktop and come to this section and click on and shut the eye. Click on this eye section to close it. All right, however, let's go ahead and arrange or give our call to action button a better settings. So I'm going to increase the horizontal padding. Let's give it a 24. No, let's give it a 12. Then for the vertical padding, let's give it an 8. Then I'm going to select select this one, hold on to shift and select the other one and click shift A to give it an auto layout. So the spacing is 142. I think that's okay. Then for the text that I have going on here, I think it might be a little bit too bold, too dark. So I'm going to go ahead and select each of them and I'm going to change it to semi-bold. Now let's give it a medium. This is fine. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is to type this text you see here, which says get offer, CV writing, and all of that. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and I'm going to type get offer. I'm still leaving it at 16. Remember, these menu items I have here, they're all on 16. But I'm going to change the font to Sophia Sans. So this, I'm using Sophia Sans for text and I'm using it for menu too. But for my headings, I'm going to be using Me3 for my headings. So let's type Sophia Sans. So this is also should be Sophia Sans. So get offer, we have it here. Then I'm going to click on L on my keyboard and just drag a line. So I'm just using the line to draw a bit of attention to this word get offer, and it's more like aesthetically pleasing. I'm selecting all of them and I'm adding an auto layout. I'm going to center this. Okay, I'm not going to add an auto layout. Let's just group it. So because I want it to be in a particular place, I'm going to keep it here. I'm comfortable with it here. Then I'm going to go ahead and change the color to not black. Right. So the next thing is to hit here on my keyboard again and I'm going to type CV writing. Just so you know, I'm a CV writer and LinkedIn optimization expert. If you need help writing your CV and you're positioning yourself better on LinkedIn, you can just send us a mail. We can work it for you. All right, so let's give this as much as a 48. 48 is good, and I'm going to reduce the height here. Then let's also give it let's increase the width of this font, the width of the font. Then let's work on, so sometimes if you want to use a particular font but you also want to achieve a different kind of feel, you can play around with this line height and the letter spacing. So for the line height, I'm going to increase it to a 164 is great. For the letter spacing, I'm going to increase it to a 5. Then I'm going to position this very well. Now you see our text box is occupying here to here, and I've given it a different feel from what it was before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, hold on to shift, select the other one and create an auto layout, but I'm going to give it a spacing of 24. Then I'm going to drag it just a little bit down. But let's go ahead and also group this section here with this our logo. So I'm selecting this, holding on to shift and creating an auto layout. Then let's center it. You can see that we added a frame within this whole items, right? But in at the top left, but want it to align at the middle, so you can see the difference. Then we're going to go to this alignment section and make sure this is centered, aligned to, this is fine. So I'm going to choose this one and select the one on top. So I just want to know the spacing between it. So the spacing between it is 182. Can we make it a 160? Which is great. So the next thing we're going to do is to add all of this text that we have here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and create this section here, this text here. I'm just going to hit T on my keyboard. I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and I'm going to draw a frame. So let's type the text, prepare. However, we can just simply copy it. So what we did is to leave it at regular, because we're not trying to like this is not the main, it's an important text, right? But you know, we made this section bold, we made this section semi bold, which can actually take it up to bold. And let's leave it as semi bold, right? So I don't want it dragging attention with this one, because this is what I want users to see first, and they can see this one and see other items, right? So we have that. We can also have this. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on to my option button rather, and I'm going to drag this down and paste the other text that we have there. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to select the both of them and create an auto layout. Then I'm going to give it a spacing of 38. So let's try to position this well. Okay, so I made sure that it started from this section here, so there's some kind of alignment with the text that we already have, right? So the spacing here I gave it is 38. If you watch all of my tutorials, you will notice that I like using even numbers. My spacing could be from could be a 24, 12, 24, 32, 36, 38, sometimes 42. That's how I progress with my spacing. Okay, so the next thing, let's create these shapes that we have here. But before we do that, let's ungroup this. We have to create a line underneath this one. Again, I just used it, it's more for aesthetics, and I just use it to also draw attention to this section in case maybe you forgot to look at it. So I'm just going to select this first two here, and I'm going to create an auto layout with it. Let's go and change the color to not black, then select the other one on top and also create an auto layout by clicking Shift A. Then I'm going to change the color to not black. So let's create this frames that you have here. I'm going to click F on my keyboard and I am going to draw a frame. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus sign beside this fill here, and I'm going to give it a color purple. But let's use our color picker. When you click on this box here, select the color picker and then pick you can pick any color you want. But however, for the purpose of this tutorial, I can copy out the color code right here. Right, so I am going to change the corner radius to a 12, but let's try to give this a definite size. Let's give it a 1617. Let's try that. So for the height, let's give it a 372. Right, let's shift it up a bit. All right, so let's create another frame. So for this frame, I'm going to give it a fill color. Let's just give it any fill color. We're going to change it, but let's give the width a 286. Then for the height, let's also give it a 372. So I'm going to go ahead and try to position this very well. So between this one and this one, I want the spacing to just be 42. But let's bring this close here. Let's use our grid lines. Perfect. Let's also come here, make sure we're using our grid line. Let's increase the width of this one a bit to 8. Let's give it a 290. I want it to fit into these grid lines here. So this one is okay, this side. Then let's give this a 294. No, 292. 292. No, 291. I don't know why I'm trying to make it so perfect. I think we're good. So I'm going to duplicate this now and position it here. So let's give it a corner radius of 8. Right, so let's close our grid lines and then see what we've created so far. the color of our desktop, let's change the color. All right, so I'm going to click on the color here, the fill here, and I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to select the color that we have here. So let's go ahead and change this color to white. Let's also try to increase the corner radius to a 12. Then for this one, let's increase the corner radius to a 24. All right, so we are almost there. So the next thing we're going to do is to create this text here. I'm going to click on T on my keyboard and I'm going to draw a frame and paste the text that we have here on my keyboard, and I'm going to draw a rectangle because I want to create this button, that this section for subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please, if you've been watching this tutorial and you found it helpful, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. To reduce this a bit, then let's give it a corner radius of 12. Then let's change it to white. Then let's click on T on the keyboard and type out Pamela the designer. So I'm going to change the color now to this, but let me make sure this is in the middle. I'm going to select it, then hold on to Shift, select the rectangle, then I'm going to come to this alignment section and I'm going to click align vertically. I think it is okay. So I want this, I don't want to start in from the middle. I want this to start somewhere here. Spacing of, let's give it 58 from this section here. The spacing from here should be 58, which I'm okay with. You can see the spacing from the top and bottom is 14, which is perfect. But again, remember, we already have this bold text going on here, which is fine. So having this one again as bold as this might not be the best option that we can do. So let's change the color to black first. So let's give this a different color. So I think this color is good, but no, let's give it this, let's find a suitable color for it. I think this is great. Then I'm going to select the both of them, right click and group the selection, and I'm going to duplicate this. Then I'm going to try to change the color of this button here to a black. You know, there are two main buttons here, so I really need to differentiate between the two. One should be the main button. I really need to differentiate the two. So yes, I wrote yes, free CV review, subscribe now. All right, so I'm going to put a little like here just to show that you can click on it and then subscribe. So let's go ahead and change that the corner radius should not come to the bottom section. So I'm going to make all of this, nope, I think this one should remain, whereas this one should be 0. Nope, it's not this one. This one should be 0. Okay, we've gotten it. Then I'm going to go ahead and change this to white again. Then I'm going to right click on my mouse and I'm going to select, go to plugins and go to hero icons. I'm going to find this button here that says, oh, you can move forward. You can click here to move forward. So this is not in our box. I'm going to drag it in. Yep, we're good to go. Let's change it to not black. Let's change this color to a white. Right, so let me explain how I achieved this section now. So there are two, let's say there are two plans, standard plan and premium plan. Okay, so standard plan is, as a business person, you want to really promote what we call the premium plan because it gives you more money. Okay, so that is why I kind of use this other button that is shouting, oh please click me, you're definitely going to notice this button first before you notice this button, right? So let's say we're playing a mind trick on you. Oh, notice this button, this is the only button here. However, if you actually decide, if you're the person that takes decision very fast, you're definitely going to click on this, because we are also telling you that this is popular among people. People like attaching themselves to things that are popular, right? So, and maybe let's say you even dig deeper, you see that you have LinkedIn optimization, CV writing, and career talk. Okay, so maybe there's definitely high chances of you just proceeding with it because it's $95 and you're getting all of this. So let's even say we then meet a user that is not too buoyant, right? But they also want other plan. That is when their mind can say, oh, are you sure there's no other plan? Then they can notice this other card that we have here. So that's like the thought process that goes on when we create certain form of design, because we want to control what the users do, how they react, actions they perform, and all of that. Okay, take home assignment is to complete this whole section here. You can complete the section here, that is what is left, and tell me the spacing you're going to use between this whole item here and what we have here. All right, and tell me if you're going to create an auto layout between these two items here. So this is me. You can send me your Figma link of the design when you've completed it to my DM on Instagram or TikTok. My name is Pamela, the designer, of course. Right, thank you for coming to today's Design with Pam series. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe, right, to support me to continue with this. Thank you, and see you next class.